Hello again. Ian Fishwick, CEO of AdEPT's, is here with me in the Proactive Investor Studio in London. Great to see you, Ian. Thanks for coming along. You've just come out of an investors meeting, an analyst meeting. What were the main highlights from that meeting?
Good news, really. Beat expectations on all sorts of things. We were 2 million ahead on sales. They were expecting 44.4 million and it was 46.4, which is great. That fell through to profitability, and EBITDA was 200k ahead. It was 9.8 instead of 9.6. And they're keeping an eye very closely on the debt, and the good news is it's 600,000 lower than people were expecting. They were expecting 18.2 and it's 17.6. So it's a very solid set of results. And
AdEPT has something of a reputation for keeping on top of that debt, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've always said, we've done 24 acquisitions, and one of the key measures is how quickly can you pay the money back. I mean, we've always said that the key ratio is the EBITDA to net debt ratio, and within a year of buying something, we want to see that nicely under 2 times. Well, after 8 months, it's at 1.8. So, we're in a very comfortable financial situation.
So across the board, in terms of performance, is this what you expected?
Well, it's slightly better than expected. I mean, it's great.
Now, as far as dividends are concerned, we know that AdEPT is pretty generous to its shareholders, and they look to you for those double-digit dividends every now and again. What can they expect this time around?
Well, we've just done a 13% increase, and we've committed that that kind of double-digit. There's no reason why it should stop for a while, because we're comfortable with a dividend cover of 2. It's actually over 3, so that's not under pressure at all.
Anything else come out of that analyst meeting you'd like to tell investors about?
I mean, one of the things that they're obviously very interested to understand is we did an acquisition of Atomwire last August. How did it go? We look back at the forecast we put together. We hit the revenue numbers 99%. We hit the profitability 96%. So it's performed absolutely bang on to where we expected. So we're very comfortable with it. Yeah, very pleased.
What's the secret of this success then? You're mentioning these numbers, how healthy they are, how you're hitting these things time after time, bang on. How are you doing it?
I think part of it is being very, very picky at what you buy. I think the people who get it wrong are the ones who've never done it before, or just buy what's passing through the window. The truth is, when you buy 1 out of every 12 things you look at, you develop a very, very strong filter of what you don't do as much as what you do.
Tell us about the business itself, moving very much from a telecoms-based business now to an IT-focused business.
Yeah, I mean, the name is almost wrong. I mean, our history was telecoms, but in terms of revenue, that's 30% of what we do. We're 70% managed services. So in the next few months, we'll have to look seriously at changing that name.
And tell us about these managed services.
It's everything from, let's take a private hospital. We kit out all the telephony inside the hospital, all the Wi-Fi. We connect them all together to the NHS, to the GP surgeries. We kit out half of all the business centres in London. With Atomwire, we now do IT for over 3,000 schools. So something like just over 30% of what we do now is public sector. But in the commercial world, we have some very big worldwide and national brand names. We don't tend to stick on the website because the competitors will go and have a look who's doing it. But there's some very famous ones on there.
So you mentioned there Atomwire, that's just one of the acquisitions that you've made, the last one that you made. Yeah. And you said the integration's gone exactly to plan. Yeah. What other companies have you acquired, and how are they settling in?
We've done 24 over about a dozen years, and they operate through 5 operating companies. So 19 were integrated into the connectivity business in Tunbridge Wells, 2 into Fleet, and they're all operating now at very similar profitability. They're all around about 20% profit on sales. They all have very low capital expenditure. There's no point making money and then perpetually putting it back. So for 15 years now, EBITDA free cash flow, 80 to 100% turns into cash. So what we want is a recurring revenue model with no capex. It's a cash machine.
So that's a nice way to put it. You seem so confident about it.
I've been an MD Chief Exec for 28 years. So one day I'll get the hang of it.
Tell us about other acquisitions that you might have your eye on. Anything that you're looking at the moment?
We look constantly. I mean, there's no secret about it. You've done that many deals. And effectively, we tend to put acquisition opportunities into two piles. One column is, are we doing this for economies of scale? Will we bulk up another business we've already got? Or are we doing it for a new skill set where we'll need to keep that site open because it does something with specialist expertise we don't have? So we're looking at both of them, still very strongly London South East, although we might look at trying to increase the geography slightly.
So a very strong investors meeting, an analyst meeting,
Really
good figures, better than expected. You're very confident about going forward. The acquisition's integrating very well.
Absolutely.
In terms of the future then, moving into this IT sector a little bit more into managed services, tell us about Q3, Q4 and indeed 2019 and beyond.
I think if we're 70-30 now, I think you'll start to see it go 75-25 because the bulk of what we're selling is now Office 365, Azure, IT support, big data networks. It's all in that environment. But certainly we're in a strong position to do another acquisition when we find one at a sensible price.
So tell us then about 2019 and what you hope to achieve during that year.
Well, the run rate EBITDA is now 10.5. Right, so even if we don't do any more deals, we're at 10.5. And one of the nice bits is we've just posted organic growth. Right, the original telecoms bit is in inevitable decline just because of the technology, and that's shrinking at about say 8% per annum. But all the new stuff is growing at 8% per annum.
And you're being agile enough to follow that trend.
Absolutely. So what you've got is 30% shrinking at 8. And 70% now growing at 8, so we've moved into 3% organic growth, and that's moving further and further. So you'll see the organic growth ticking up slightly now.
So Ian, just lastly then, your message to investors?
More of the same. It works.
Very simple but straightforward. Ian Fishwick, great to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.